Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have this 2023 Nissan Murano, and we're going to do the front grille chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before doing the installation on the front panel. It's just a regular factory chrome design, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we used a gloss black material, that way it matches the color of the front bumper that it comes with, and it also gives it a more sportier look as well. If you like the product, link for the product will be linked below. But with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So before we start with the installation, we need to make sure we prep the panel. So all you need is water and baby shampoo mixed together in a spray bottle. Once you have your solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel, and just make sure to remove all the contaminants that the panel may have. And also, once you're done cleaning the whole entire panel, make sure that everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down to the panel, because if there's still any water residue left over and that touches the adhesive side of the film, it's not going to stick even if you apply heat. So make sure that everything's completely clean and dry. So once you finish prepping the panel, now we can start with the installation. So with this one, just align it right in the center where the curve is located on each section of the panel. So just make sure you have enough to cover this section and enough to cover the other section of the curve here. Slowly and carefully place the film down. Just like this. You can grab your squeegee and start tagging it down, carefully removing any air bubbles that may be underneath the film. And then once you're done here, we're going to use our fingers and apply a little bit of pressure to bring it down like this, and everything should sit and curve underneath the panel. Once you do that step, you're going to grab your squeegee and just make sure you remove any air that may be trapped underneath this body line on the panel. And once you remove the air on this flat surface here. So just take your time when you're doing this. It has to look flush like this. And then once you're done here, you can go ahead and start tacking it down from the middle and work your way to each end. If you feel that the film is a little too stiff, you can apply just a little bit of heat to help release the tension on the film to make it more malleable to work with. So once you apply heat, start tacking it down. So this whole section should feel flush. You could run your finger. There shouldn't be any creases or any fingers underneath. Once you feel that it's good to go, and all we need to do is insert our blade in this small gap on the panel that we have here. Insert it here and just trim off this excess material that we have here. So find that gap and then carefully and slowly trim off the excess material. And then for this top section, we're going to apply heat just to help the film tack down a little bit more around the curved area. And with this section, since there is a big gap underneath here, you could tuck in a little bit more material underneath the grille here. So tuck in as much as you can. And then whatever is remaining, we will trim it off with our blade. All you need to do now is insert your blade between the gap, and you could use the grille as the guide in order to lay the blade on top or underneath the grille and just slowly trim off the excess material. And then do it on this end as well. Just take your time. It should look like that. And then just finish off, apply heat one more time. That way we help the film tack down underneath the grille. And you should be good. Now we move on to the side pieces. Now we're moving on to the front piece of the grille here. So with this one, you want to start off where you left off on this section here. Place the film right on top just for now, and just make sure you align it roughly where you left off and work your way to the top section of the panel. And make sure you have enough material to cover this section here. So roughly around there, and just follow the panel as you go. And it should land up here. If you have any fingers, just carefully lift the film. That way you can realign it and remove those fingers. So it should be like this. Once you tack it down, grab your squeegee and just work your way on securing this flat area first. You may need to lift the film carefully here and just squeegee as you go. And this is just to release any air that's underneath the film. That way you don't accidentally crease the film. So now it's flat here. Apply heat on the edges here. That way the film is able to tack down and remove any fingers that may be on the top section here. Let the film cool down and start from the middle. Use your finger to tack it down and then finish it off with your squeegee like this. And then just do the same for this section here. Apply a little bit of heat as you go, especially on the curved area. That way it doesn't feel creased. So basically help the film tack down around the body line. Grab your squeegee and start securing it and tack it down. If you do encounter a small crease, that crease you can remove it by applying heat just a little bit, letting the film reshape itself back to its original form, and then tacking it down. So as you can see, the crease went away, it's flush, you should be good. So the heat will help you remove any small creases that are not too deep on the film. And now that we secured this whole section, there's a small gap in between the panel here and the grill. That is where you will insert your blade and trim off this excess material. But before you trim it off, just make sure you figure out where exactly you need to insert the blade. So right there, create an outline, and then trim off the excess material. So now that we remove all that excess material, it should look like this. And before we move on with the next step, apply heat just to help it tack down around the edges, and then we will install the piece that goes on the top here. Okay, so with this one, it's going to be to cover this section here and the top section of the panel here. So just make sure you align it right on this curved area here. So roughly around here. And all you need to do is follow the design of the panel. It is going to overlap just a little bit with this piece, but just as long as you make sure you have enough coverage on the chrome here, you should be good. And don't forget about the top section here. So now all we need to do is make sure we secure the film. So if you do happen to have a crease, lift it carefully and start tacking it down. And make sure to remove any bubbles underneath the film. And for the small fingers up here, apply heat to remove them. Once we tack down and secure the film, just apply heat one more time just to help the adhesive on the film activate faster, and that way we know what is going to be excess material, that way we can trim it off. Create your outline so you have an idea of where you need to trim, and then just trim off the excess material. And the same steps that were done on this section, you would just rinse and repeat for the other side of the panel. Okay, so now for the lower section, just make sure you align it on either side where the cutout is located for the lower lip. So it doesn't really matter where, just as long as you start from one end and slowly align the film to the top until you reach it to the other end. And you should have coverage on the top section like that. Grab your squeegee and start tagging it down. And make sure you remove all the air that's trapped underneath here as well. And then we'll trim off the extra material afterwards. We apply heat. So grab your heat gun, apply heat underneath the panel. And then trim off the extra material from the edges and underneath here. There's a gap where you could enter your blade, so just trim it off from there. Apply heat one more time just to help the film tack down in case there is any film lifting after we trim, and then we can move on to the side pieces. So when it comes to this last piece, recommend starting from this end. So what you can do is just place the film here. That way we're able to work and align the film on that edge over there. So lift it carefully, align the film to the edge. Make sure you're covering the whole chrome. So just like that, we'll leave this here. And then we're just going to work our way onto the top edge until we reach it over there and then tack it down with our squeegee. So lift the film carefully and just follow the design of the panel as you go. And then with this one, try not to get it confused with the plastic here. So it's only going to cover the chrome, not the plastic trim. So it should be like this. Grab your squeegee and start securing each section. Make sure to lift the film carefully wherever you have any fingers like those, because that's air trapped underneath the film. And if you don't lift it carefully and you just tack it down like that, you may crease the film. So just take your time, lifting it carefully to release the air and tacking it down. And now we're going to start applying heat around the curve. That way we help the film sit on the panel, and then after that we're going to work our way to each side of the panel. So start from the curve area, use your finger to help it sit. And do the same for this side. And before we trim off the extra material, apply heat one more time just to help any film start molding to the panel, and then we can trim off the extra material. So just find the gap underneath the panel, enter your blade, and trim off the extra material. And now finish it off by applying heat, and then the same steps that we're doing here, rinse and repeat to the other side. So once you finish with the whole installation for the front section of the vehicle, the last thing to do is to pulse heat the entire panel. So all you need is your heat gun, and all you're going to do is apply heat all over the panel. That way we help the adhesive on the film activate faster, and also making sure that if there's still any film lifting, we help it to tack down and secure it to the panel. So just take your time doing this step, making sure you cover the whole panel, and then once you're done with this step, you're done with the installation. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the front section of the Chrome Delete installation for the 2023 Nissan Murano. We hope that this video helped you guys out with the installation. If it did, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you're missing any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.